All right, my fellow agents, welcome back. It is I, X7, your host of Zenorama, the podcast of heroes and monsters. And today, I don't even have a pithy adjective about me. Today, we're going to be talking about a movie with 11 monsters, 11 giant monsters. It is my favorite Godzilla movie and one of my favorite movies of all time, 1968's Destroy All Monsters. What do you want? I was at a very tender age when I saw this, about 9 years old. Although I do remember seeing the television trailer for it and it scaring me when I was, 4 years old because it was released over here in the States in 1969. I wouldn't see the movie until it was released to syndication in 1974 or so. Well, maybe earlier, but I don't know if that's true or not. Having said all that, please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this movie. I know it's short on characterization, but it is long on monsters and spectacle, and that makes it all worthwhile now, doesn't it? So, and watch a little longer than normal. All right, are you ready? Let's roll.
Destroy all monsters. Orders the conclave of nations when unknown powers from outer space attack our world with gargantuan man-killers. Then the armies of our world unite. Massive armies versus mad monsters for possession of planet Earth. Destroy all monsters.
All right, you just saw the TV trailer, which, I did see as a small agent here in Fossil Bed. And then, so I don't know, I didn't see the only Godzilla poster I remember seeing at that age was for Godzilla versus the Smog Monster, which we'll get to in two more movies, right? But I couldn't wait to see this movie when I saw it, the advertisement in the TV guide. My friend, I think I spent the night over at my friend Scott's house, and we both were excited. And it was on Sci-Fi Flicks, so there was an episode of The Outer Limits. Excellent. Although I don't think we saw it because his dad had to watch the news. And we missed it, and the news was from 10 to 10:35 on the network channels. So we might have missed the very beginning, though maybe not. I remember seeing most of it. But this restoration is from Red Menace. I do have one from Constantine Foreman, pardon me, who also did a great job. But you can get this one on the Internet Archive. So it's the AIP dub married over to the wonderful, gorgeous either DVD or Blu-ray. I don't know at the off the top of my head, but it's wonderful. So there's the Moonlight SY3, which is my favorite spaceship, or yeah, it's a spaceship of all time. I just love it. It does remind one of Thunderbird 1, so maybe that's why I like that so much. The movie was released August 1st, 1968. My brother had just turned 3. It runs 88 minutes, and it was released yet a year later by American International Pictures on May 23rd, 1969. 8 months later. Teacher Studios did it. You can hear everybody's voice there, including Hal Linden as Tetsuyo, or Katsuyo Yamabe, the captain, our hero. All right, so the movie starts. The year is 1999. It's such a great start. And then it goes right into the movie. Now, the Japanese credits start after that, but AIP put them all at the end of the movie. There's the Ogasawara Island chain, a real island chain in the Japanese in Japan, and the monsters have all been rounded up. They don't say how; they just have been. There's Godzilla, Rodan, Anguillus, Gorosaurus, Mothra, and they all have defenses to keep them stationed in. Yeah, there are more monsters. They say all of Earth's monsters, but Kamakura and Ebira are not there. Anybody else? The the gargantuas aren't there. The Frankenstein creature isn't there. I think that's about it. But and King Kong, of course, is not. Now apparently he was supposed to be, but he was not. So there's my favorite Godzilla suit. I mean everything, and there's Rodan. Now I of course saw a pan and scan version, and you couldn't see many of the effects because it was even by then the prints were not perfect. They were 16 millimeter instead of 35. Rodan is actually actively shown eating something. Now they show dolphins, but this doesn't have the proper tail fin. It's vertical instead of horizontal, so maybe it's a shark. Then we see a helicopter land. There's the control center where they keep an eye on everything while they're learning about the monsters. And once again, probably if you go back, the pan and scan one was probably about this much. So um, uh, Kyoko Wanabe has shown up there to work there with Dr. Otani. Uh, let's see. I think that's Dr. Otani, but anyway, they're all having a good time there. There's the moon base there, and the moon is rather craggy as opposed to what it is in real life, which is all right. It just looks cool. They were going for a cool aesthetic, and they fix it. Now that's the Moonlight SY3's booster to get it from the Earth to the moon and to the moon back again. So there she is talking to our hero, Captain Katsuo Yamabe, who is Akira Kubo, who we saw originally earlier as Tetsui from Monster Zero. He was in tons of other things: Gorath, Matango, Space Amoeba, aka Yogg, monster from space, and then a cameo in Gamera, the Guardian of the Universe. He passed away in 2019. Anyway, suddenly the moon base or the Monster Land, not Monster Island, but Monster Land, is under attack. Now this does take place in the far off year of 1999, which when I saw it in '74 was still 25 years away, and at the tender age of 8 or 9, I couldn't imagine that. You will see this footage again in Godzilla versus Megalon. Rodan crashing into Anguillus and just all the destruction. There's what is his name? Andrew Hughes as Dr. Stevenson, who was also redubbed. And then we cut into everyone seeing where the monsters are attacking Moscow. Come on, Rodan, where are you? We need you now. Gorosaurus destroying the Arctotriad, burrowing up through the earth. This was supposed to be Baragon, who was known to be a burrower, and I think he was just tired, so he let Gorosaurus have the shining moment there. Because Gorosaurus has tiny little arms, like a theropod would. And then we see Godzilla attack New York, which is more action than we saw in any of that 1998 terrible movie. Lots of press conferences here. There's the moon base again, and that's Kenji Sahara as Nishikawa, the moon base commander, who tells the SY3 to come back. Look at that ship. It's so great. There's the first spaceship or flying saucer we've seen, and they want to go after it, but they say come back. They're sent back to Earth, and there's Dr. Um, yeah, sorry. And off they go to Monsterland to investigate what's going on. This is really reminiscent of some Thunderbird 1. They've got weapons, some kind of scientific survey there. Now the command center is empty, but look, you can see all the monsters, and then they find Kyoko and Doctor. I think that is Doctor Otani there. Well, they show that where Mothra is in Moscow, Godzilla is attacking a ship, and then we meet the Queen of the Keylok. And let's listen to just a little bit of the movie right here and watch it. Hopefully, it won't be long enough to get a strike or even a notice. So after a bit of back and forth, one of our brave astronauts, cosmonauts, I don't know, lunanauts, whatever they were, tries to rush her and gets zapped by her personal force field. Great effects. So many great effects in here. Look at this fancy New Age gun. Uh, they want to take over the SY3, but of course, that doesn't happen. They grab Dr. Otani, and it's a surprisingly bloody movie here. Look at the shot right to the forehead. Boom! But they don't know that they're under control. So here, and so they interrogate him, and she's Kyoko's watching. And now it was Brick DePayne that showed me that this, even on a 16 millimeter pan and scan that we saw projected, how this shot was set up. The cinematographer is great. The direction is great. I mean, come on. Taichi Kankura did the cinematography, and just it's phenomenal. Everything about this is. So now they start talking and lighting some smokes, eh? And then he jumps out the window and kills himself. Now they get down there in a hurry, but then that is Susumu Kurobe playing a villain once again. Well, he's mind controlled, so he's not really a villain. Uh, um, that's Shin Ultraman. His name is Shin Kuro. Well, I don't know, but we get a close up of him, and the police show up, and the gun battle shows and starts, and then this guy tries to carve out a thing, but they escape in a conveniently placed boat, and they find this and a little more blood here. They think it's a hearing aid at first, but we find out it's an alien control mechanism. So now they're off to find out where they are. There's the SY3 looking for radio waves, and this gentleman, um, I don't know who that's supposed to be. Does it say? That's Ikio Sawamura as farmer with rocks. So he's just collecting rocks. He finds one of the control mechanisms. They think the SY. Some kids think the SY3 is a monster, and then it's Rodan, and then it's a flying saucer. But he says, "Oh no, that's the SY3. I have a grandson on the moon." I didn't know that. I do know the movie a bit. They find the radio waves, and now they're figured out it's in fake rocks, and they show a montage of where they are. In a coconut. I wouldn't want that to hit me on the head. And they say they have to say it's expressed in kilometers, the range of them, so the two of them can cover the entire United States. I mean, how they get from here to there is beyond me. And Godzilla got to New York. Go figure. So then we've got these little personal handheld televisions. In 1999, no one would have thought of that. There's Kyoko. They show a bunch more. And here's a hint at how she's being controlled. And the attack on Tokyo happens. This is a good set piece. Because there's Rodan. And I love all the people racing around. They're not laughing and smiling as they did in some of the second series movies. And then Godzilla wades ashore. Manda shows up, who gets a nice spotlight with a redesigned head, so he wouldn't look so much like King Ghidorah, even though he was before King Ghidorah. I do love Manda. And look at this shot. This is a forced perspective. That's Nakajima-san in the Godzilla suit. Manda's a puppet, and it's just as amazing. I just love this movie. You're not getting anything constructive from me here. This shot here would show up in the credits for Godzilla's Revenge, the next movie, which I also love. And then the military, now these have to be outside the city limits, launch the rockets. And then we get lots of destruction. And then Mothra shows up. And eventually the monsters are driven off, but there's destruction and death, which we haven't seen too much of since, well, 1954. But now the Ezo hot springs have dried up, and that's where they figure out where the key lock have went to. Kyoko shows up, and we get a very bloody scene where Katsuyo rips out her earrings. Now, they're not really earrings. They're obviously they embedded these the key lock embedded the control devices into their victims' necks, and I think that he couldn't have done anything else. So some people think it's misogynistic. I think it was necessary because they couldn't operate on her. So that's just my view of it. I love these scenes. Well, more SY3. They go to attack the base, but there's Godzilla, and he drives them off. He smashes up all of the tanks. Well, a lot of them. Now, these are remote control tanks, so no one's getting killed. Oh, I love that shot too. That's my favorite suit. And that one. And then Anguilla shows up and wipes out a bunch of them. The monsters win again, Okada. Well, duh. Now, Hal Linden gave voice to in the U.S. dub for Katsuo Yamabe, so the captain there. Recently, of course, Toho only has their international version, which is not nearly as well dubbed. It's adequate. I'll still watch it. That's what they showed on Svengoolie, and nobody bothered to tell Sven that it was not the same dub as the original one, which isn't his fault. I mean, and he might have done it even before that was common knowledge, though, to us big nerds. It's pretty common knowledge. Oh, look, there's the saucers. These saucers are simple, but they look good. Rodan escorts them out, and now there's Mount Fuji, so they go to find the base. These are some fun shots here as well. It's just, I had dreams like this. Of course, I wasn't running from Godzilla, but take that for what it is. Here's a lovely shot. My dreams have always been like in a boat where Godzilla's around or Gabara. Anyway, I still have similar dreams. They run back into the Keylok, who show them their base on the moon, which this is a shot they used recycled sort of from Monster Zero. It's the same setup, except it's got the different spaceship. And again, it's still really well done. I saw this long before I saw Monster Zero, so take that for what it is. Now, we're back on Monsterland. They're working on the remotes to get the monsters under control. SY3 is sent to the moon to destroy the Keylok base on the moon. This is an exciting sequence. I love this shot here. Once again, forced perspective over the moon. And I think they misdub it, but it's the Mare Cesium, but they say something else. And there's our heroes in their astronaut outfits. And they land and they get fired on. The lasers blast a hole into it, which causes lots of sparks and fire, and they go off to find out what's going on. Now, they don't understand that the Keylok can't live in cold, right? There's their real form. Now, how they assume human form is beyond me, but so they pick one up to take it back. I wonder if they'd have thrown it into the sun if that would be too warm. There's the control device, and they're trying to contact the moon, but they won't. So they cannibalize their own ship or their chariot, if you will, Lost in Space reference, and they burn it. Katsuyo is just determined to get it, but they get it, and off they go. Everyone's happy. The moon base explodes, probably sends the moon into a. It is 1999. Moon base Alpha's on the other side, maybe. Take that for what you will. Yeah, that's a Space 1999 reference that I just made the connection to. They're talking about the Keylok true form. Godzilla wades ashore, but they say, no, he's under our control. Now they send him to attack the Keylok base at Mount Fuji. And here's our battle royale. I'm not showing you any of it. It's just not going to happen because as much as I love the movie, it's too much. All right. Our intrepid TV reporter there somehow thinks that that's Godzilla when it's Minya. Although he's not named either as Minya or Minila, whatever, Minya, whatever Japanese, however you say it. But there he is with his dad. Anguilla shows up, Gorosaurus, Kumanga, even though he goes by the Spiga name. And look, I didn't ever realize that Baragon, Manda, and Varan were all right there. They couldn't use the Baragon suit because it had been cannibalized for Ultraman and hadn't been repaired yet. So, and then Varan was just, from 61 or 62, was just in terrible shape. So they used the puppet, and it's easy to use the rather poor Manda puppet. But Rodan shows up, and now they're about to begin their attack when suddenly something from outer space shows up. Now, I didn't know what this was going to be, which is stock footage from Ghidra, the three-headed monster. And it's Ghidra. And they're sure that Ghidra is going to win, even though he's been taken off the earth by two monsters, Godzilla and Rodan, alone. And he's up against, allegedly 10 more monsters. But off he goes to battle, There's the big three right here, and then the second bananas. And I love this shot though. Across Mount Fuji, he lands, and the battle is on. Now there's like 100,000 wires floating here, and they managed to not tangle them up. This shot here we'll see in Godzilla versus Gigan, aka Godzilla on Monster Island. It's bloody, boom, but because Ghidra drops Anguillus, the base shows up, but the battle is still on. And Godzilla and Gorosaurus obviously speak the same language. But now, Anguillus is one tough monster, as we'll see. I will turn up the sound so you can hear the monsters battling to the death. I thought it was cool at the time. I guess that is TTV, Tokyo Television, right? They're not worried about their own safety. But you can see blood here yet again. A kangaroo kick, the signature from Gorosaurus. Now, this Gorosaurus was in 1967's King Kong Escapes, a great movie as well. And that was that he used against Kong. More blood coming out because Godzilla just stomps the crap out of his head. Chomp. And Minya throws an atomic smoke ring that kills the final middle head, and Ghidra is finally dead. Mothra and Kumanga spin webs over it. Minya celebrates, much to the chagrin of serious Godzilla fans. Rodan flies over, but suddenly the Fire Dragon shows up. Fire Dragon is not named in the English dub, the US dub. It just shows up. Godzilla tries for it, but manages to scorch Rodan. It hits the UN building, and then we see stock footage from Godzilla versus the Thing. That's the Thing's egg in there that Godzilla tries to incinerate. It hits Monsterland again, and she's sure that it's going to... Now she was sure that the Keelok Queen was sure that Ghidra King Ghidorah would take out the monsters. Now she's sure the Fire Dragon will. And Godzilla goes after them, opens it up. Of course, they turn into rocks again, and he's like, okay, let us shoot it down. And off they go. The SY-3 is locked and loaded. This is an exciting sequence. They hit it once, doesn't do anything. But finally it goes out, they blow it up. Final shot, the kill shot explodes. We get another shot of the aliens, the Keelok turning back into rocks. And now the movie's over. God, I love this movie. I love this movie so much. I'll pretty much watch it no matter what, when, where it's on. If it's on and I see it and I have time, I'll watch the whole thing. So they're looking at the monsters as we say goodbye. Now, this was supposed to be the final Godzilla movie, but it was popular enough that they continued it, thankfully, for another 6 movies till 1975's Terror of Mechagodzilla. There's Anguillus, Kumanga, there's Baragon. I guess that's the real suit there, though why they would have repaired it enough to just used it once is beyond me. But um, Manda, Rodan, a quick close up of the puppet for Varan, Minya-san, and they're all smiling as Godzilla and Minya wave goodbye. And that is the end. So we do get the credits here. I put these in. They've been redone by Red Menace. Again, download it or watch it on Internet Archive. It's great. And directed by Shiro Honda. And there we have it. Tomorrow we will get back into the into the swing of things with our next 3 episodes of the New Adventures of Johnny Quest, and we'll be back. So, having said all that, my fellow agents, until our next assignment, and I won't gush about many more Godzilla movies like this. This is X7 signing off and phasing out.
I would say nobody has anything to fear from us. But we are going to control you now. It is the same spaceship you saw near the moon. That should convince you we do not come from your world. We are here to make you our slaves.
From the laboratories and arsenals of all civilized nations, the most powerful, the newest, the most devastating of weapons blast into action in their effort to destroy all monsters.